Gunnar Myrdal was a well-known Swedish economist and sociologist. He was a talented man that had set many goals to accomplish in his life. In 1974, Myrdal won a Nobel Prize for the contribution in research on the interrelations between economic, social and political process. Gunnar Myrdal was born on 6 December 1898 into a farming family. In 1923, he completed his study of law at Stockholm University and began to work as a lawyer. He also continued study for a doctorate in economics. He was a student of Knut Wilson, David Davidson, Elie Heckscher, and Gustav Cassel. In 1927, he gained his doctorate in economics at Stockholm University and published his dissertation, in which he set out the starting points of his monetary theory. From 1925 to 1930, with intervals, he studied and worked abroad in Germany, Great Britain, and the USA, and published his first works. In 1933, he succeeded Cassel as head of the Department of Political Economy and Public Finance at Stockholm University. In the same year, he published an article in German which became a very part of the book Monetary Equilibrium, published in English in 1939. He was also active in Swedish politics from the 1930s. In 1934, he was elected to the Swedish Parliament for the Social Democratic Party. This period from 1927 to 1934 is often regarded as the most intellectually productive in Myrdal's career.
Gunnar Myrdal, a Swedish economist, made an international reputation with his 1944 book An American Dilemma. Today considered a classic in sociology, the book was the end product of a study that the Canadian Corporation had commissioned about what was then called the Negro question. Myrdal, democratic of the separate but equal doctrine, played a large role in Supreme Court's 1954 ruling on Brown v. Board of Education of Topeka, which outlawed racial segregation in public schools. The book also contains solid economic reasoning. Myrdal, an egalitarian sympathetic to socialism, showed that Franklin Roosevelt's economic policies had badly hurt blacks. Myrdal singled out two New Deal policies in particular: restrictions of agriculture output and the minimum wage. Myrdal opened a chapter titled New Laws to Southern Agriculture during the 30s, Trends and Policies, with the following. Of all the calamities that have struck the rural Negro people in the South in recent decades, soil erosion, the infiltration of white tenants into plantation areas, the ravages of the boll weevil, the southwestern shift in cotton cultivation, none has had such grave consequence or threatens to have such lasting effect of the combination of world agriculture trends and federal agriculture policies initiated during the 30s.
In an attempt to stabilize farm income, Rod Myrdal, the US government restricted the production of cotton, putting hundreds of thousands of mostly black sharecroppers out of work. It seems, therefore, that the agricultural policies, and particularly the Agricultural Adjustment Program, that is AAA, which was instituted in May 1933, was the factor directly responsible for the drastic curtailment in number of Negro and white sharecroppers and Negro cash and share tenants. Myrdal also described how minimum wage legislation, ostensibly to improve working conditions, actually worsened blacks' economic standing. During the 30s, the danger of being a marginal worker became increased by social legislation intended to improve conditions on the labor market. The dilemma, as viewed from the Negro angle, is this. On the one hand, Negroes constitute a disproportionately large number of the workers in the nation who work under imperfect safety rules, in unclean and unhealthy shops for long hours and for sweatshop wages. On the other hand, it has largely been the availability of such jobs which has given Negroes any employment at all, as exploitative working conditions are gradually being abolished. This, of course, must benefit Negro workers most, as they have been exploited most, but only if they are allowed to keep their employment. But it has mainly been their willingness to accept low labor standards which has been their protection. When government steps in to regulate labor conditions and to enforce minimum standards, it takes away nearly all that is left of the old labor monopoly in the Negro jobs.
As low wages and substandard labor conditions are most prevalent in the South, this danger is mainly restricted to Negro laborers in that region. When the jobs are made better, the employer becomes less eager to hire Negroes and white workers become more eager to take jobs from Negroes. Myrdal's analysis predated George Sprinkler's classic 1946 article detailing the harmful effect of the minimum wage law. It supports the view that the truly is consensus among economists of various political persuasions when ideological loyalties are laid aside and clear economic analysis is undertaken. Myrdal's another major classic is Asian Drama, an inquiry into the poverty of nation. Its major message is that the only way to bring about rapid development in Southeast Asia is to control population, have a wider distribution of agricultural land and investment in healthcare and education. In 1974, Myrdal and Friedrich Hayek shared the Nobel Prize in Economics for their pioneering work in the theory of money and economic fluctuations and for their penetrating analysis of the interdependence of economic, social, and institutional phenomena. Besides being an economist and a socialist, Myrdal was also a politician. He was twice elected to Sweden's parliament as a senator, was minister for the trade and commerce, and served as the executive secretary for the United Nations Economic Commission for Europe.
Selective works of Gunnar Myrdal: Inherent Imperfections in Foreign Policy, The Underclass in the Great Society, 1965 MC Dougall Memorial Lecture, What is Wrong with the Welfare State, The United States and the Integration Endeavors in Europe, Land Reform in its Broad Economic and Social Setting, The Effect toward Integration in Rich and Poor Countries, The Vietnam War and the Political and Moral Isolation of America, The Radical Crisis in Perspective, An Economist's Vision of a Sand World, Vietnam, a moral problem for the whole world, the necessity and difficulty of planning the future society, the role and reality of race, political factors affecting East-West trade in Europe, Gandhi as a radical liberal, 20 years of the United Nations Economic Convention for Europe, basis in social research, the intergovernmental organizations and the role of their secretariats, the problem of radical integration in United States, with Christmas and New Year greetings, economic conditions and policies in their relation to war and peace, how scientific are the social sciences, crises and cycles in the development of economics, the place of values in social policy, India's new role following victory toward a new America, the need for a sociology and psychology of social science and scientists, economic of an improved environment, the contribution towards a more realistic theory of economic growth and development, growth and social justice, the world poverty problem, twisted terminology and based theories.
Myrdal suffered from Parkinson's disease and was hospitalized for 2 months before he died in a hospital in Changsund, south of Stockholm on 17 May 1987.